for me to wake up. I could not go back to sleep last night. I was up till like probably 4.
Why you didn't wake me up? I went to sleep because you was asleep. Nigga, the smoke.
I was just hitting rips. I didn't even feel like rolling the J. That's how tired I was.
Y'all, they cut my fucking live off. But
Shit.
it was, yeah, they was like, this bitch talking all this shit. Snatch. But guess what? It did save, so all is not lost. We back or whatever. Yeah, y'all, they cut the fucking live off and shit. You know how they do me. I can't wait to get on YouTube. Cause fuck this shit. They on dicks. They smoking dicks. But no, I did get to save it though. I did get to save it. At least I think. I hit share. So. But anywho. They cut a nigga off, y'all. They was smoking dick. They can't handle me. They don't like my energy. Bah humbug. Bah motherfucking humbug, bitch. We back. So what was I talking about? Yeah, so I realized that I was already a threatening force or a threatening presence, you know, by being friends with, being a patient of a rival psychiatrist, being friends with his lead receptionist. I didn't know at the time, so I'm like, what the fuck? But it wasn't until after I got out and I started interviewing everybody, talking to everybody, that I realized, like, oh, yeah. I was like, and I knew too much. I knew too much about the dirt they was doing because I was the one sending the emails for them to correct it. Because I'm like, you could get me in trouble with the law. What are they talking about? They need to put their clothes on and go play. Niggas is annoying. But, that doesn't sound like you're taking care of our house or our home. I'm getting tired of having to say the same things over and over again. Seriously. At this point, it's about to get you in a lot of trouble. No, I don't want to hear that's London. That's all y'all. Goddamn 3 amigos out there. Then when niggas get in trouble, I don't hear that shit. But anyway, Kai's parenting 101, Matter Fibonacci style. But no, yeah, so that's what happened with that, y'all. And it got, like I said, it had so much shit involved in it, y'all. It was fraud, and it was insurance fraud. I forgot. Spirit just reminded me. I even filed a complaint with the Office Inspector General, the OIG, for insurance fraud. And I actually remembered the patient's names and the account numbers. And I told them, I said, if you go inside their computer and you put this name in, you're going to see this. You out here fucking doing all that fraud against my people. These are black people that were cognitively disabled that they was playing with and sucking dry for their fucking social security checks. Yeah. Oh, yeah. I sure the fuck did tell the Office Inspector General. And I did it multiple times. Ooh, bitch, that looked deadly.
Exactly. I just had to cut that piece off because I just snatched back when I picked something up.
We'll wrap that up in something.
We don't have no band-aids.
We don't have band-aids because we don't hurt ourselds in this house.
Hold up.
I be getting fucked up with this copper trying to wrap these crystals. They be killing their hand, y'all. My hand be like, just stop already. I be like, no. Exploitation. But no, so yeah. That's what happened, y'all. And then I went to court. They lied. All through, where the ashtray? You know I can't smoke without an ashtray. Because that shit get long and I have like low-key OCD. That shit get long like a fingernail. Shit drive me crazy. I be like, ash it. I be looking at other people smoking like, if you don't ash that shit, if I smack your fucking hand, ash that shit. I'm notorious for popping the back of a stranger hand and make their cigarette ash. I be like, you had to ash that, bro. They just start laughing. I be like, each one teach one. One time in life, I don't keep my hands to myself. Don't smoke around me with no long ass fucking fingernail of ash growing on the cigarette or the black or the weed. I'ma smack the shit out your hand. That shit gonna drop. But anyway, yeah. So when they tried to falsify documents, they tried to pad my file. Like, we kept writing her up. They was forging signatures and shit. But what they had fucked up was there was actually a document that Shay did sign, right? Then there was the fake write-up that Shay supposedly signed, but it wasn't the same signature. I said, first of all, when your name start with an S, you write your S a certain way. She wrote her S a certain way. That SH blend, you gonna cursive that a certain way. Everybody don't write classic S's. And she signed her shit a certain way, but it didn't look like that on the document that they tried to say was a write-up from her. So I pointed that out in my exhibit. I had like circles to point out the differences in the handwriting. And then I also pulled up one of her typed up little fake ass memorandums. She typed a fake ass diary entry from the day I came in there, went in her office and said, explain to me how these policies work. I made her put the company's HR on the phone. What she didn't know is that the company had an HR, and I knew about that. It's Paychecks. I put their HR director on the phone and said, make sense of that shit. She was like, we'll talk to the managers. All right. On speakerphone. All right. They ain't changed nothing. She then types up a fake memorandum. In the memorandum, she says that there was no other management that came to work that day but her, right? But in another another document, or the document with the forged signature, is Shay's signature. But I thought you said Shay wasn't there that day. Your document says that. Y'all didn't proofread very well, did you? Then she had an email that she submitted that she submitted that was between her and management, like the CEOs. I turned that against them. Like, your own exhibit shows that this was premeditated. Look at the time that you sent the email saying, look over these documents and tell me if there's anything that needs to be tweaked. You said that. If there's anything that I did wrong. You said that in the email at a certain time that doesn't match the fact that one, it shows that those people were not at work because you had to email them to tell them what happened. And then you put in there that they weren't at work in your memorandum. But then on the exact date that you said they weren't there, there's a document signed. I pointed all that out. Y'all falsifying documents? Y'all faking shit? All right. Then I pulled up the time card because they tried to say I had so many schedule variances. I said, okay, y'all hired me in October. Winter season hit, school shut down. I'm a single mom. Y'all gave me permission, which I still to this day have the entire text thread, hundreds of messages. I said, every date that you highlighted trying to say that, I'll tell you in a second, Harry Betty. Every time that you, what was I about to say? Fuck. She just asked me a question. What they say when I showed them? I got a right to sue. And they found other things that were wrong because the time card. Thank you, Brana. The time card said that I had all these schedule variances, but they were all days that PGCPS was closed. So I showed them that, and I showed the authorization text saying it's okay. We're short staffed, or you can stay home. So I'm like, how is that being counted a variance? On top of that, the variances rules that y'all came up with were not implemented until March when I asked you for an employee handbook. I said, you trying to write us up for shit we didn't even know were rules? Where's my handbook? So then you came up with this handbook damn near in a couple hours, which means you copied and pasted, didn't really go through it. Paychecks confirmed that. They told me. They found it. It was given to them by Toby from it came from a previous person that she worked with or some shit like that. So you didn't even read this shit. It doesn't even fit the demographic of the climate of your staff. Excuse me. Sorry, y'all. So ghetto. But yeah. So on the time card, the dates you trying to highlight in the beginning are dates that, one, Megan was not in management. Let's note that, and I'm suing her. So it's like, how you using a time card with dates where she wasn't even management. Then the dates were before the handbook and the rule was even implemented, and then they were authorized, and then they were based on PGCPS, and we're all single moms. Next, so then they was on some shit like with this. Oh, they were docking my pay, y'all. They would tell me to come in early because nobody was at work and they needed staff. They needed somebody that knew what they was doing. So they was like, could you come in and cover for so-and-so? I'd be like, sure. come in there and they would dock my pay for that earlier hour that I come in early, and they dock the pay. So they wouldn't pay me for that earlier time. And then they would pay me for my time. It was like days where I had 2 hours that I had like 2 hours that I did not get paid. Yep. Wow, shit like that. So I pointed that out, like, thanks for submitting that, because you just let me realize that y'all owe me a couple thousand. Y'all was doing that all 8 months I was there. So then, pointed that out in their documents, using their documents. Do y'all know I submitted 85 pieces of evidence? 85. Photos, conversations. I had documented statements, timestamp statements from all the girls that worked there before me. Shit was thorough. The EEO said, if you didn't know, the EEO is a government or a federal government thing, or organization. So they have a cap. They have certain rules that they talk about and that they defend, and they have a cap on the amount of money that you can receive if you win for that. I could only get $50,000 for $50,000 for for stuff that was based on equal opportunity, race, and all that shit. I was only eligible for $50,000, but they said that the lawsuit was worth at least $100,000. So the EEO said we can't take this full blown to the Supreme Court because some of the stuff that you have to sue for is civil. So they gave me a right to sue instead, and then said you do have the EEO like back in the fact that we did find that you have a right to sue. But you know what that means? You have a time period. You get a expiration date of the right to sue. So it's like a coupon. And you have to find a lawyer within a certain amount of time, within 90 days. So in comes our social climate as Black Americans, or Africans in America, because I couldn't afford a lawyer. And when I thought I found one, they told me they would work with me. I said, I'll give you my son's social security check every month if you represent me. And then at the end, you could take a little extra if you need to. Just represent me. They were connected to the Cochran firm. They said they would represent me. Well, they got money hungry. They changed their mind. They said, we want $4,600. And they didn't tell me that until 3-4 days before the expiration date of the right to sue. And I couldn't find a lawyer, and I lost it. I lost the opportunity to sue for that. Now you know why I stopped eating? A nigga was fucking low. I did so much work. I had them women up 3-4 in the morning telling me their stories. They be emailing me to this day like, what's the status? I'm like, son, I didn't go through. I couldn't go through with it. I didn't have money. Shit was wild. So you know what I did? I turned to spirituality. It ain't over. I hexed they ass, but it was justified. Every single day, one thing I'm gonna publish for y'all entertainment, is this journal. Every single day since, I want to say April 14th. My first write-up was the 15th of April, which was a Monday. The 14th was a Sunday. On Sundays at this time in my life, I was dedicated, instead of going to church, because I'm not a Christian, I would have like ceremony, church, if you will, with my ancestors. I would go before the altar. I would light their candles, refresh their water, give them all their offerings, speak to them one by one, the ones I knew by name, using divination, took hours. Play music, cry, sleep there if I wanted to, enjoy a meal with them. And I divined and wrote down everything they told me. Y'all know they foretold everything that would happen in that case. They told me on Sunday I was going to be in trouble on Monday. I have it all written down in this journal. Every single thing. They told me how it was going to end. They said I was going to end. They said I was going to still. They told me that I was going to get $100,000. They told me that. And using cards. And dice. No, at the time I was using dice. It was cards. Using cards. They told me that. And so when I didn't get to go through with the lawsuit, I'm like, but you told me this. They're like, yeah, we mean it. And I asked if I had the right to employ my ancestors that lived in the shadows. That's Roxana and everybody who lived in this life that were, known for root work, hurting people, spiteful, vengeful, the best in the hex work, the warriors, the ancestors that are unknown by name, that were warriors, the ones that did jump the boat, that decided to drown, death before dishonor. I summoned them. Because it's this and that. You don't have ancestors only that decided to go through slavery. You have ancestors too that was like, you got me fucked up. You have ancestors that fought and died because they stood up for themselves. And I hired them. I said, I don't know your name, but you know my energy, you know my bloodline. If you was a part of my family and that was your story, now is your time to shine. I'm trying to take down white supremacy. What's up? I did some blood magic. One thing I'll tell y'all, write this down. Blood from your womb is good for manifestation work, but blood from your fingers or like body parts, something you have to inflict pain in order to get it, that's good war material. I was cutting my fingers up and bleeding over top of the ancestor money. I still have y'all thingies, but I bled over the ancestor money and burned it. Burned my blood, burned the money. But what I did was I wrote all of their names on the back of the money, and I said, do with them as you will. I wrote all their names, every last one of them I could think of. I wrote everything they did to me and the women that were before me and during my termination. And I cried, y'all. I cried because I was so mad. So I felt every bit of that moment. I remember it. And I was just like, I have their business cards. If you look at my videos on my altar, you'll see GWPC business cards. It's my business card. It has my name on it. It says Shekinah Cheek, but it has the company logo, their address and everything. I put that there as well on the altar, so they can always be working on that underneath a brick, on a Roxana's brick that I used for y'all brick dust when y'all first got the Odyssey. The people who got the first packages, y'all got the brick that I harvested 3 years ago. It's been consecrating for 3 years, and when it was activated and ready for war, then y'all got the Ashe from that. But yeah. And I will never forget, that's when I found out that Megan was pregnant by the black dude. And I said, damn, I just hexed the shit out of her and she just found out she was pregnant. Here. It's out. Here you go, fucking hurting all these black women who are the epitome of your black man that you dating and fucking on, got and trying to have a baby by and living with, right? He making like 6-7 figures. And you capitalizing off of that because you feel entitled. And all these black women you hiring and firing and treating like shit, what you just did to me. He was raised by a black woman. Crazy? So I thought of that, and I think about, how a lot of us black women, this was that part in Save the Last Dance where Nikki was like, y'all conquer the world and then try to take our men too. And I felt that rage at that moment, like, a lot of single black moms wish they had a black man that could stand up for them and that could pay the bills and that could be a good dad. You got this good black man in your home because you feel entitled to his income. That's really what it's about. And his success. And he has no knowledge of self, so he feels that white is a epitome of making it. And I thought about that and I got angry and I said, I did say that, I hope that this baby brings her full circle. But I said that to my warriors. So, sidebar, all that only honor your most honorable and benevolent, honor them all. Because the ones that did wrong in this life, they live in your shadows. You still trying to defeat some demons that aren't really yours. They're demons on the bloodline. That's the generational curses. People think generational curses is like, defeating cancer and shit like that. Yeah, that's part of it. But it's the bad habits. It's addictions. It's hitting snooze on the alarm clock instead of getting up early. It's shit like that that's also residue from the bloodline that you're fighting, and when you conquer it, they ascend. So Roxana, like y'all know from my other live, is the ancestor that killed my great grandmother with root work over a man. And a lot of my family members that survived her hexes and stuff lived to tell her stories about how they was shitting out black liquid, and she was the skin on their dicks was falling off, chafing off like bark on a tree, shit like that. She was really getting niggas. One nigga cockeyed for the rest of his life. Getting niggas, you understand? And so this is her specialty. I went before I got initiated into Ifa. That girl, it's a girl named Yale. She's a child of Obatala in Ifa. Lighter. She is one of the people that introduced me to Ifa. So if you ever see her or Mother Omi and them, they introduced me to it. And Yale was she had her warriors and shit, so she could divine before Eshu. And she went to Eshu and was asking Eshu for me certain family members, whether or not they were in my spiritual court. And I asked about Roxana. She said, oh, she, like, it was a definite, like, oh, she fucks with you and she's there for you every time you do magic. She's involved in it. That's her shit. I'll never forget that reading. So no matter what happened between me and Yale, she always got a place in my heart, because we're not friends no more though. But it was because of my initiation. I went into a different Elay and not the one that she was in, and there was some details in that, and so we kind of fell off. More than anything, we weren't like beefing. Like when I see you, it's on site. It was more like we just stopped talking to each other. But I guess because I'm in like somewhat of a rival Elay now. I don't know. But the point is, she still got a place in my heart. Still nothing but love for her, because she helped me get on this path. Here. And she, it's out. I'm not good at relighting them shits. But she, lighting them shits. But she, yeah. It fucking told me that. So, I fucking employed Roxana because she was itching for some shit. Like all this time in my time alive, I was doing things, hurting people for the wrong reasons sometimes, and I had to pay the price. She was like, now I get to do it, and it's for a good cause, it's for the right thing. Hell yeah, I'm gonna help you. So I'll never forget doing that, and I asked for the entire business to be dismantled, because that's ultimately what I was working for. I wasn't going to do it for the money. The money just comes with it because that's part of the law. I was doing it for justice. I was doing it for the black women that were still there, that felt like when I left, they lost their voice. I was doing it for how I knew when I left, shit was about to go south for them. So I was doing it for the colleague before I got hired that ended up passing away after getting fired. And, she has those 3 boys with autism that her elderly mom is now caring for. I'm doing it for that. So I put all that love into my hex. And this is the second and the last time I've ever hexed anybody. But I put all of that into it. Let me tell you something. When you got a hex that's backed by love, I said, I'm aiming for this entire company to be dismantled. You can't hire no more black women for this to keep going on. I'm trying to break the cycle. So the only way for it to be broken is for the entire practice to fall apart. That was the goal. And then give them individual lessons. Throw a little spice on it. Have some fun with them. So they remember some shit. Or so they feel some shit. Sure enough, Megan ass was pregnant by this black dude. Going through a complicated pregnancy. Her liver started failing her. The baby had complications. She had complications. Then she had to stay home and work from home. But they ended up treating her like shit for not being able to be accessible. And so it backfired. She went through the same thing I went through. Not being able to come to work because of your child or your illness. Same exact paradox. And now she beefing with them. And was threatening to sue her damn self. Hafuna, the Egyptian dude, versus the Jew, who were the CEOs that are now got a restraining order against each other. They beefing real hard. And all of the OG staff that came from ABH, they're all gone. One of them even moved to Florida. She called me last night like, I need your help writing the statement for court. Hopefully, need my statement. I told him that he should consider you being a part of the case as well, because you did a lot of the work. You have a lot of documentation on Sussel. And I was like, won't you look at this? Niggas is in trouble. This is going to court. It's an active case at this point, and they got the money. So what's good? It ain't over. It's the anniversary. May 1st marks the day that they terminated me, and the day that I went to the EEO and started the case. The month of April was when all the bullshit really started heating up. As a matter of fact, this was around the time Dallas got sick. So it's only going to get worse. We got a month before we really get to see what becomes of it. And I am pleased with my family's work. So what I will be doing, and I'm sorry, the baby doesn't deserve to be a part of this, but, that's me speaking more so from the love in my heart, just that is naturally there. Because we don't know what soul contract the spirit in that baby had. So he was supposed to be born with issues. When you have a higher understanding, you can look at it from that perspective. So I'm just like, it's all in God's plan. Because if it wasn't, it wouldn't happen. Look at that. So, and she not doing well health-wise. Megan isn't. Mentally or physically. I'm sorry, I don't give a fuck. Shit. I'm trying to learn how to eat again because of what you fucking did. My kids lost, I tried to still give them a good summer. They didn't really feel a lot of it, but they lost their mom because I was so involved. No, I haven't had any food, just this piece of candy. But when I get off, I'm lying. I woke up at like 5 a.m. and I was eating like some butter chicken, basmati rice, and some naan. That's what I was going to say. When I get off, it popped up in my ifar reading when I was talking to my godfather yesterday that I got to sit down and have a meal of liver with Eshu. But what's crazy is, before the reading, I had motherfucking ordered liver and onions from Silver Diner. Get the reading, like, Eshu want liver. I looked at the plate like, it's right here. Shit say liver. I looked at this shit. I said, this is wild. And I was like, but I already ate half of it. He was like, Eshu wants you to do what you can. And I guess he was assuming, too, that I couldn't afford to get another meal. I ordered 2 more. One for me, one for Eshu. Thank you to y'all for investing in me, whether you pay for the class or the readings, because you have helped feed me and my family. But I, order me and Eshu a meal. And so when I get off live, I have to make it into a stew. So I got, like, corn and shit and potatoes. And we're just going to sit down and I have to, Eshu said I have to dine with him. So now Eshu is involved, y'all. Y'all know I'm going to eat. Spirits tell me to eat. And he's a deity. And he don't play. He the deity of the crossroads. He the one that opened y'all paths when I did that ritual. That's who I always go to. He my right-hand man. So he tell me to eat, I'm going to eat. So I will eat. I will definitely be getting my calories in today. But, so I'm just saying, like, I'm going through that. I have to teach myself how to eat again. I had to go through mental health. I had hired a therapist named Fatima. Crazy thing is I had a white therapist from Dr. Christensen's office, right? And she literally fired me the guy that I told y'all that I thought was my twin flame, he had come to one of my therapy sessions. Bad idea. Somehow he thought my session was about him. He started talking and saying some shit, and then shit just went haywire. Names was being called. Next thing you know, we fighting like Love and Hip Hop. I'm mushing him because I ain't gonna hold you. I'm spiritual, but I got a lot of masculine and fire in me, so I'll fight your ass. So I'm just like, nigga, what? So I'm like mushing him and shit. I'm taking the books and like launching them. And my kids at the time in the hallway. So what he said was that I was a classless bitch, and look at how I act in front of my kids. That shit was a trigger because my whole life has been dedicated to trying to be what I didn't have. So to be compared to my mom, because I felt like she was all the things he called me. So to be compared to my mom in that moment, I was like, whether he was right or wrong, I was like, I'm nothing like her, even when I've fallen short. And that shit, like, sent me. It sent me, y'all. He saw another side of me. And that's really when, and we was talking about the Nipsey shit, because remember I told y'all Nipsey passed, and that's what caused me and him to split because of how he took it. But when we came into the therapy session, he brought up the Nipsey situation. I'm like, we're not here to talk about that. Me and you have already talked about that. We're here to talk about what was going on with me, which was on that day I cussed out the school principal about my son, because they don't be treating autistic kids right, and you're not gonna keep, this is an institutionalized pipeline. Like, you trying to get my son geared up for jail. Like, I'm about to come in here and fuck y'all up. So I came in there and I was cussing her ass out. And then I wanted to talk about that in therapy because I felt bad. I was like, I could have expressed myself better than that. I could have come off way more intellectual, articulated my point, But I had just went through all that court shit, and it's just like, son, like, no. So, yeah. Actually, no, I hadn't started going through the court shit yet when this happened. So the court shit happened right after that. So that was even worse. Maybe that's why I went to such a bad depression. But, because that happened in March. But yeah, y'all, so the whole thing was we had this really bad blow up in front of the white lady. And the white lady looked at it, like the way she was looking at us, when I kind of processed it all, I was like, we put on a show for her. We was acting like an episode of Love and Hip Hop, and we was proving the point that white people try to display about how black people are. And I ain't like that. And I brought that to his attention. Like, we did not do our people a service in how we behaved in front of this white woman, this professional white woman. So then when she came back, she says out of her mouth that she doesn't think that she can relate to my gripes as a black woman, because a lot of the stuff that I was saying I was battling with, she doesn't deal with in her life. She didn't understand it. And that's when it clicked for me. And I was like, y'all really different. Y'all really different. Y'all really can't be trusted. No offense if you white in here, but it's like, you gotta look. It's not even that it's you. You can't take it personal, but y'all don't have the best track record. You're loud. You're loud. It's like y'all don't have the best track record. So I can't trust you off rip. So, but I told her that I release her because she's right. She can't relate. And I hired me a black lady named Fatima. And she came in there and understood a nigga. You understand? And I hired her 2 days a week on top of my spiritual practices, which I openly talked about. And it's so hard to do that. So you have to make sure that you tell your therapist, give them a disclaimer, because once you say it, it has to be documented. And I say, look, yes, I do communicate with spirits, but I am not schizophrenic. They don't tell me to do no wild shit. I don't listen if I ever heard no wild shit. You know what I'm saying? I have a mind of my own, even though I have a gift. So the things that we will be discussing, you have to understand that. Yes, I do perform divination. Yes, I do smoke weed. I went on and said everything that could be implied to be something else because that's not what you talking to, right? You ain't talking to no low vibrational shit. So let me go ahead and let you know that I'm aware of how you're going to look at this, and let me go ahead and cancel that out. So I did that, and then we was best friends after that. And it helped her, I guess, with her spiritual journey, because she start coming in saying little shit, or she'll be like off the record and saying little shit, and I'll be like, all right. You know what it is. So I don't give a fuck about her ass being ill or that damn baby being sick. Sorry, I don't. That's what it is. You know, that's that boomerang effect. You're feeling them same vibrations. It's just manifesting into dis-ease for your family. For me, it was an energetic imbalance. You know, I couldn't sleep. I couldn't eat. I was down. But I rose. And the last shall be first, and the first shall be last. Because that's just how it go. So here we are a year later, and it's not over. And y'all going through shit that y'all gonna feel for the rest of your fucking life. All right. So now that I've told y'all the story, now do you see why I did it? So I don't want you to get the idea that I'm just out here hurting people, because the list of stuff that I said happened, I know that was pretty. It's like, damn, like, what did they do to even deserve, like, the baby? You think that's an accomplishment? But now that you know the story, you should have a better understanding, and maybe you learn a better understanding of. You are very loud. I am on live. Now you understand, you know, the reasons I did what I did, but you also get a better understanding in your life when it comes to magic or root work or anything like that. It has to be justified when it comes to hexing, in my opinion. That's the hoodoo way. You know, I always think about the fact that I'm just returning the balance at that point. What you did was so extreme, so I have to now implement spiritual things. Little stuff like somebody's talking behind my back, if it has the potential to grow into something serious, then yes, there's root work for slander. But even then, the punishment has to fit the crime. So we ain't trying to kill people and take people out or rob people of their income, or we want whatever they did to us to be reciprocated, which is why I usually just say, may the lessons of life be upon you, and let the universe choose what they want to do. I don't implement that. Take ego out of it, because sometimes you're very loud, and I'm not going to say it again. That's it. That is it. What was I saying? I'm pretty much just make sure it's justified. I'm not going to do anything drastic to someone for something small or a small offense. And really, most offenses are only offenses because you have issues within yourself that you need to heal. Because people having the right to make a certain choice, that is their choice, and you have to be okay with that. So if it's something like that, then, you know, somebody choosing to be with another person over you, and you're really bitter about that and want to hex, it's like, that's not grounds for that. That's grounds for healing work, some cord cutting, some spiritual bathing, some journaling is grounds for that. It's not grounds for trying to make the girl sick. She ain't got nothing to do with that. Whether she knew about you or not, he had a choice. She had a choice. They did what they wanted to do. You cannot be upset with that. That is their God right. That's not a grounds for hexing, in my opinion. Other witches may tell you different. Other witches may do root work for you to hurt people for those instances. I'm telling you from my higher understanding, that's not good for you or the worker, because it's going to come back if it threw off a balance. And someone making a choice that they want to make is not throwing off the balance. It's just not. In this case, you did throw off the balance, not just to me, but to the women before me and the women still there and the women that were coming in. You were fucking up not just those women, but then their homes, their families, their income, their quality of life. That's grounds for a hex. And you know about it, because then someone like myself had the balls to confront you and say, this is wrong. And you had a choice at that moment to say, you know what, she right. Let's tweak this. Let's have a meeting. Let's do orientation. Let's do some trainings. But what you decided to do was get rid of me because my light was too bright for the darkness you was trying to spread. That's grounds for hexing. Absolutely. And then I didn't even resort to that first. I went to the law. Really, Cayenne? What did I just say?
You said be quiet.
So what's up? You said be quiet. So what's up? So we here with it, right? So anyway, kids. You see what I'm saying? That's grounds for hex work. And then it's like I said, backed in love. So I'm doing it. Like I said, I wasn't suing. Even if I got no penny out of it, I still would have fucking sued. I still would have went as hard as I went because you hurt my quality of life. You hurt my children's quality of life. And then when I found out, I dug a little deeper to try to defend myself. I found out you was doing it to other people too. And you still doing. You think this shit is okay? You have sexual harassment in there, embezzlement. One of the girls is embezzling money for him to keep her job. I know this because the office manager, Joyce, when they fired Carter, tried to fire her. He said, I got your back if you got mine, and fired Joyce. Missed that part, but yeah. That's all in Joyce's statement. And I'm just sitting there like, that's grounds for hexing. I already tried to do it the human way. Exercise my God right as a human. And I took it to court. I took it to the big dogs. And if the EEO, if it was solely racism based, because now it's dipping into other shit, other civil laws. But if it was just EEO based, I would have been able to take them to the Supreme Court. The letter says, because there are things that, are outside of our jurisdiction, you got to sue in a different court. But you have our right to sue seal, saying that a federal agency investigated it first. Full proof. Full fucking proof. I didn't hex the lawyers because, one, I felt, in my opinion, that would be a petty offense. That's something that's going to come back around to you on its own. And it is. I know right now, niggas is out of work. Niggas are struggling. Like, I ain't worried about it. You'll get it. And I'm going to get mine. And they going to get theirs. And they are. So, when I found out about that, I thought it stopped at the fact that everybody was beefing. Some of the best doctors, like, some of us were connected to the doctors like as their personal assistant. I was a personal assistant of a black psychiatrist, the only one. And she was beautiful. Little stick figure lady named Dominique with big, bushy, natural hair. She was gorgeous. And she had her husband, which I thought would be a white man because she was so uppity, but it was a black dude. Bald head black dude, and they got a little baby, a little like 1 or 2 year old. I felt honored to be her assistant because with all them other white therapists in there, I wasn't connected to that bullshit. I had me a sister. I felt lucky as fuck. And I showed that in my work ethic. She felt lucky to have me because her patients were happy with my service. I went above and beyond for them because of my position and her position and how I represented her. I was her personal assistant. So she put in her emails, please speak to Kai. If you need to do this, talk to Kai. And I took that shit like a badge of honor. Like, yeah, talk to me, motherfucker. Talk to this bitch right here. Hello. Too many people. Hold on. That was me. Feeling like a fucking superstar working for Dominique Clark. I found out she left though. When I left, she was like, don't assign nobody else to me. She told them that she ain't want none of the new girls. And then she eventually left the practice. Another therapist left the practice as well. The billing manager left the practice as well. The medical assistant left the practice as well. That's the one who want me to help her write a statement. Everybody dipped. They lost all the goods. They had nothing but the sheep. All they soldiers gone. Gone. People that didn't know no better, that was new coming in and probably didn't even know how to really do the job because they were hiring out of desperation. Gone. Just crumbled like a cookie. Like stale bread. Just crumbled. So, I thought it stopped there, though. I thought it stopped at just, like, everybody leaving. But now the owners are in court against each other and there's a restraining order. Like, whoa. Way to put some stank on it. How creative of restraining order. That was fucking brilliant. I just love what I do. My fucking spirits be like, you have fucked up royally. And I just sit here like, what's good? So, yeah. That's the story, guys. You guys can talk now. You want to say something? I'll respond to the comments. But yeah. That's the motherfucking story. And boy, when you go to court, did y'all see the word fraud in the restraining order? Like, the restraining order tells you the whole list of things that they're suing each other for. And fraud is in there. I know that's because the OIG came in that motherfucker. Did I tell y'all how that works? When you file a complaint with the OIG, what they do is, you could do it anonymously or you can put your name on it. If you do it anonymously, you don't get paid. You do it, put your name on it, you get paid. You know, I put my fucking name on it. I want them to see that I said that shit. I want them to get that shit in the mail and it say Shekinah Cheek. And I want them to fucking dribble piss out of their ass. That's how scared they gonna be when they see it. Like, this bitch won't quit. Ha! Yeah, I fucking did it. And I did it like 4 fucking times. I filed with so many different agencies. I even filed with Medicare and Medicaid. And guess what? For every account that they find fraud on, I get $1,000. For every account. That's how they were running their business. So my blessings will come. And now we're going to court for fraud? Oh, yay. Woo! So, my stories should be personal reviews of my Ashe for you. And they're not made up. You can tell. Who the fuck makes something up like that? I got all these fucking folders of the paperwork and the things I've typed up and shit. Like, when I was involved in that lawsuit, like, it ain't in vain. So, yeah. I don't sell shit, if y'all ain't noticed. Because one, the work will sell itself. The energy and the vibe will connect you if my Ashe is meant for you to be taking part in. And if you're even led to be led by me, then, you know, I've started providing courses. So now you can learn everything that's in my brain. I'm dumping it out because I feel like what good is knowledge if you keep it all to yourself. So I'm about to tell everybody else what I know and teach them at least the beginning of how to do what I do. They can go on their own tangents because there's so many different paths. And so to separate myself from religion, I don't sell a specific way to live. I just tell you, you know, what I know. I tell you about the knowledge behind certain things, get you in alignment with knowledge of who? Self. Not knowledge of me, but to learn you is to learn who I am too. Because we're just God. That's just what we are. We're just little, we're just little pieces of God. So, you know, I give you the beginnings of divination in my initiation course. You learn about at least 4 different types. And then I teach you the basic skills of numerology, and you practice with casting dice, which is actually a form of divination in itself. So you learn a form of divination. You learn about tarot, at least the beginning of it. I will actually start a divination course later on in my career, where I will teach you how to read it, especially the way I do, and see beyond the cards and see beyond the meanings of the cards, and, you know, be able to make murals out of the cards and see actual scenes with your mind. I'll teach you that. But what good is it for me to hoard it all to myself? Like, I'm going to live forever because the shit I've taught other people is going to live through them, and it's going to live through the people they teach. And that's my energy on this planet forever. So whenever it's my time to go, I ain't kicking and screaming because I ain't go nowhere. I'm still here, still doing my best work through others. And then hopefully, you know, they know that they can venerate and they can contact me, and then I'm going to just for mine, the way mine did it for me, and there we go. So I'm gonna always be in work, have work. You understand? Even in the afterlife, I am in training to be an ancestor. I am in training to be a spirit that you can call on, that'll help your ass in the days to come. Because time is not real, y'all. So please get out of your head that the earth or the world will end. What is it? What? Everybody know an ending is just what? A new beginning somewhere else. So it ain't never over. And as long as I have things like my journal published and certain how-tos published, we got YouTube now, so we'll have these videos circulating soon. And boom, that's the new library. Yeah, they burned them down, but now it's digital. You can still read, you can still learn, you can still expand and grow. Even more so, you know, people frown hey, please be quiet. People frown about, you know, I'm not playing. You're starting back up. They are annoying. Whoa. Teachers need to get a raise, because I can deal with this shit all fucking day. Y'all gotta remember, I'm used to niggas being gone from 7:30 to 6:30 p.m. while I'm in here just working effortlessly and tirelessly in the silence, or maybe with a tune on or music playing. I have, y'all, what the fuck? Now, on the outside. What's the fuck I hear all day long while I'm trying to do readings and shit. I be like, the mean with the nigga with the cigarette, that's me. What's that, Mackay Pfeiffer? Chunky neck ass? That's me. But yeah. What was I getting at? The libraries are digital now. And there is it's actually good to have so much access to opinion. Because one thing I've learned is that people don't think the way they think for no reason. They do what they do, and it doesn't mean you have to subscribe to it, but to be exposed to it means it was an option. So you really get to make a sound decision and choice about who you are by hearing all these other opinions. Opinions are not fact. Theories are not necessarily fact. But you can... I'm not kidding. Be quiet. I'm not kidding. Go to your room, please. Just go to your room. Because now at this point, I feel disrespected. Go to your room. Next step is a nap. That's how you get them. Kids hate the N-word. Now, anyway, they be like, sleep. I can sleep when I die. I don't want to do that. But, niggas do not know the concept of resting here. But, yeah. I like being exposed to all these different opinions and theories and shit like that, because it helps me see all the different ways people think and take information, and I can make a sound decision on what resonates for me, you know. Always keeping in mind at how what resonates for you will dictate your behavior, which will dictate your vibrational, you know, frequencies that you let out for others to feel, and that should help you understand which choices are the best ones to make, because does what you choose for yourself ultimately hurt, cause harm or kill or anything like that. Does it do it to someone else? No. Good. If it doesn't, then good. If it does, then I don't know. If the principles and the practices and the policies require you to be like slaughtering niggas or treating them bad, I don't know, like the KKK and shit, then that's something you wouldn't want to subscribe to. That's a framework or a way of thinking you don't want to subscribe to. That's how I live my life. I like look at it all, not judging it, just looking at it all. When I first came into spirituality, it was through the energy door. I tell you this all the time. But when I start going into knowledge of self, that's when energy turned to the Orisha, which then turned to like ancestors, which then turns to the whole African diaspora and the understanding of what it means to be an African. Then I started learning about who I am, right? And when I started doing that, I immediately on YouTube was watching videos from like SETI and Young Pharaoh. I was watching YouTube videos where they were battling and debating other people, the Moors versus the Hoteps and that shit. But because I came in from the door that I came in on, my ego wasn't in choosing a side with any of them. I'm just looking like, but who's the common enemy though?